And
this meeting is being recorded.
This meeting is being recorded. Good evening. It's Paula Fern coming to you from Manchester in the UK. I hope you are well. I'm going to be covering our final week of our travel biz boot camp. So this is week 4. There are 3 other weeks that you can catch up on. I'm going to share my screen. And if you want to catch up on those, just let us know and we can send you the recordings. So can you see my screen right now? Yes, good. I'm going to move that there. And then we're going to start. So welcome to week 4 of our Travel Biz Bootcamp. Don't tell your travel agent. The reason we tell you not to tell your travel agent is because the rates that we provide are way better than what your travel agent ever could. And we've got business partners that are travel agents as well within this company that are actually moving their travel agent clients over to the system that we use because they're saving so much more money. So it's tongue-in-cheek, of course, tell your travel agent, because they can come and have a chat with us as well and see how they can help their clients. So we're going to be talking a little bit more tonight about what do our members say. So in the first week, we talked about why it's a good idea to even consider having a business in the travel industry at the moment. And the reasons for that is because it's so lucrative. People want to travel. We've been locked down for a couple of years. They want to get out there. They want to see the world. But the thing that's stopping them is having the money to do so. And that's where we come in. Because the way that we do it and the way our travel system works, you're saving upwards of 70% every single time you travel. Then we talked a little bit about how you can start a business online. We talked about how effective social media and social sharing is. And we talked about how incredibly easy it is to be able to share what you're already doing. We've also talked about our partners and our members going on trips, just sharing pictures of where they've been and how much they've saved. And on the back of that, they've then started to build a business and an additional income just by helping their friends and family get the savings that they're already receiving. So it's a really simple way of doing it. And then week 3, we just kind of looked at the kind of income that you can make. And looking at that, there's a key moment, which we call a 2-star director. It's a key part of the way our business works, because at that point, you're actually, if we compare it with UK salaries, you're in a position where you're actually replacing an average annual income in the UK. And it's very simple to get to that point. So if you want to, that's just a really brief recap. If you want to look again at those and in more detail, let us know. We can send you the links. But what do our members say? I'm a member. And one of the things I will tell you is that I've got 4 children. And with my children using this travel system, I've saved over £11,000. Now you can imagine the impact of having £11,000 extra in my bank. Every time I'm booking trips, I'm saving a little bit. I've got upwards of £11,000 saved on family travel. And this is things that I would have been doing anyway. So our first trip, we went down to the Norfolk Broads and I went with all 4 of my children. And it cost me £8.25 for a week for 5 of us. And it should have cost in the region of about £400, £500. One of the most memorable trips that we took was to Scotland. We had a week just in the October after lockdown ceased, so when things were getting back to what was sort of relatively normal. We went for a week to Scotland because we absolutely love Scotland and the Cairngorms. It was beautiful. It was around Halloween time and we stayed for a week. It cost us £45 for me and my 4 children. We also took the dog. Now the dog would have cost £75. So the dog would cost £75 normally if I didn't have this system. And a family of 6, because my husband was with us at that time, would have cost us £45. Doesn't really add up, does it? So when I queried this, they actually said, you know what, you've got this travel membership. You don't have to pay for your dog. That is complimentary. So in total for that week, it cost us £45. It should have cost in the region of about 850. Now, when you're looking as well, when we were away, because the country was still quite locked down and we were just going around the UK as best we could because of what we've got. We didn't want to miss out on the savings that were there. Halfway through that week in Scotland, we decided we didn't need to be back for school. We didn't have anything going on at home. We had the dog with us. We're home from home. We added another week on and we travelled 15 minutes down the road to a different part of the Cairngorm, still absolutely beautiful. The scenery was just incredible. And we stayed for another week for another £45. So it's you just can't beat that. I mean, if I was if I was booking through your normal sort of travel options through a travel agent, they wouldn't have been able to match that price. So those are the kind of savings that I've made. But bear in mind as well, it's not just travel that we have. Travel is the main and at the forefront of what we do. However, I've also saved money on children's uniforms, on Christmas presents. We get a percentage off anything that we want to buy from high street shops. I save every year on Christmas presents and birthday presents, and all of this goes into that £11,000 that I've saved. I save on electrical goods, so I needed a new fridge freezer not long ago. Saved on that. We've looked at things like getting electricals, laptops, things like that. We can save on that. Everything that you buy, there is a saving. The massive savings, though, are on what I absolutely love, which is the travel. But when we combine all of those savings together, that's where I've got my £11,000 saved. It's incredible. So when we've had feedback from some of our members, another thing that's been fed back is people can travel more often than they were able to before because of how much they're saving. One of the members that we've got has actually had more vacations in the last 5 years than they have in the last 25. And that's because you're always saving for the next trip. It takes a year to pay off your credit card and then you want to book something else. You don't have to do it that way with us because it's so affordable. You can actually pay upfront each time, but you're still saving money and you don't need to get into debt for it. So people are traveling more. And this is what we're finding that the general public want. They want to travel more. It's just that finances in the past has stopped them, which again, that's what we actually, so we solve that problem because we're saving so much money for people that they can go and do what they're dreaming of doing, which is traveling more. Someone also said that they travel for business and they claim every penny back. And this is a really interesting one because I used my membership to travel for different business events. I've been to various events all around the country for business related sort of opportunities. And I've always used my search engine. Now remember, this search engine is personalized to our company and it's built, it actually functions in the exact same way any other search engine online does, and it brings you back the same results. But what is in those results? They take away any commissions that other companies would add. We don't have any commissions to pay on that. So the amount that we're actually getting back comes, the amount that we're actually paying, sorry, is commission free. So you can imagine that can be anywhere in the region of sort of £50. The average that I save on that search engine is around between £50 and £70 each trip. That adds up to that 11,000, doesn't it? It all adds up. And I know, Mahmouda, you went to London, I think, and you saved, was it £100 on using the booking engine? You can see how much commissions that they add on. It's astonishing
in
when
London,
you realise.
We went to a 5-star hotel in London and we saved £120 for the weekend for the two of us, and that was including breakfast as well. And we also used the activities and saved money on our dinner cruise. So there's so much you can use. the funny thing was with the dinner cruise, it was actually cheaper on our back office than the sale price they were quoting.
Yeah, I can believe it. I've seen it with my own eyes as well. Thanks, Moo. But it's so true because we take everything at face value as well. And I think it's so we look at the way of doing things easier and quicker because we live in such a fast-paced society now. We're looking at ways that we can do things and we want it now, 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 boom, boom, boom. And which is fine. And that's, that's great. But if you don't know about our system, you don't know how easy it is to use. And that's why we're spreading the word in the way that we're doing, because you can use this system. You use this search engine. So you've got your search engine, you've got your getaways, you've got your world tours. You use the search engine in the exact same way that you would do if you were to just go online and search for it really quick and take it for face value. But what we've done, because it's our business and we've made it our business, we've done those comparisons for you. We've checked against other search engines and we've looked at what you're seeing face value and what is actually something that's going to give you that's worthwhile. There's savings to be made every single time you use this travel system. It's absolutely shocking, to be honest, how much commission that some of these companies add on. We don't need to do that because we're part of such a bigger organization. We don't need to do that. But traveling for business is fantastic because you can claim it back as with any business expense. But if you're using this travel club as a business, anything that you've spent within this business, so your monthly fee, every single part of when you go for flights, when you pay in to go on certain trips, you can claim all of that back because this
You
is
can
a
also
business
claim
expense.
electricity, internet, mobile phone, because it's all
Business expense,
business.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're claiming that that's a really big deal for anyone that's ever been in the self-employed space, but even for anyone that's not, because there are people that have a full-time job and do this. Most of the time people start with our travel system because it saves them money, and then they realize actually I can make some money here without having to change that much about what I'm doing. And when you look into it from a self-employed perspective, and when you're registered as self-employed as well, which you can do even if you're working full-time, it's absolutely fine, you can claim everything back as well in your taxes. So it's every angle is covered. Someone else on the feedback that I've got as well has said our family bonds are stronger than ever through the memories we make. That's a really big deal for all of us in our community of Dragonfly Voyagers. Making those memories, my speciality is mental health. I work in mental health and I have done for a very long time. And that was my first sort of realization when it came to this travel club. It was about, I looked at it because it saved me money, of course. I looked at it because I wanted a business. Then when I looked at the really sort of deep things that were going on, like repairing family bonds, like making memories that you're going to think about forever. I was talking on a live the other day about what children remember about Christmas, because I've done this. I've got 4 children, 2 of them are teenagers, 2 of them are younger. But I've spoke to my 2 teenagers quite often and said, what do you remember about last Christmas? What do you remember about your birthday? And every single time, it's always an experience that they've had. It's not been the present. It's not been anything really that's gone wrong, if there has been anything that's gone wrong. It's about having those memories and sitting at the dinner table or walking down the river or doing these things that are the memories and that's the special part. That's what brings you together as a family.
Yeah, I mean, I joined the business because of the travel, because of the savings, because I was traveling a lot with my children, and that was for our mental health because of
Yeah.
the grief we had gone through after their dad was killed in a car accident. It was to help us be together in a place that wasn't just full of sadness or anything else. They were having fun. So when I joined, that was my sole,
Yeah.
way of thinking about it. It's just saving money, but it's so much more.
It
It's so much more.
is.
You have another family. You've got the Trevorian family, the Dragonfly family. It's just it's amazing, absolutely amazing what we have in our hands that we can't even explain how good it is. It's
Yeah, and
just
it's having
wow.
you've got so much in common with the people that you're sharing it with as well, and that's who we bring to these events, like the boot camps, and the people that we talk to about. We've got a workshop coming up, which I'll talk about in a second, but the things that we do around our travel business, we're drawing to us the people that we've got things in common with. And every single one of them wants to travel, but they've also got their own reasons for wanting to do that travel. And most of the time, that is to help emotional health in some way. Or it might be that they want, like for me, one of the biggest things for me was having my children build that sort of level of acceptance of other cultures and
Yeah,
experiencing other cultures and going places where they wouldn't necessarily have been able to go, but being in a position where they can see things and realize that our life is not like everyone's. Everybody is different and we go through different experiences. But to have such an open mind, and there's quotes all over the place, you can go on Google and look for them. But
mm,
travel opens your mind, it broadened your horizons so much. And that was massively important for me. But that's the same with you guys. I know that for sure because I know you, but it's also the same with anyone I speak to about this travel system. That's what they're wanting to do. It's a bigger picture, really. It's not just as, although making the savings is amazing, it solves a problem because people don't have that much money at the moment. Going on those trips is incredible because it's an exciting experience, but it's much more than that. It's much deeper than that, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, as my children got older, they don't want to travel with me anymore. So
Yes,
this, with the world tours, especially, you're going on a holiday, but you're not on your own. If you
yes,
want to be on your own, you can be. But if you want to go out and meet up with other people who are in the company,
yeah,
because I've got friends in America all over the place from this company.
yeah.
And I haven't met everybody, but I've met a few in Dubai, and it was like I've always known them.
Yeah, and it's a oh yeah, it's a lovely experience because I've seen the pictures and I've seen your videos and everything. And like some of
Yeah,
the people that you've met are quite the kind of big names in our
yeah,
industry as well.
yeah,
So it's kind of like, wow, you've met that person. But you know what? They're all just like me and you. They're all
yep,
so down to
absolutely.
earth. They all want the same thing. They want to help people save money. They're all leaders in their own way. But the main aim is to, I mean, the CEO of the company, David Hart, the whole point and reason that he brought this company into being like over 10 years ago was because he's a family man. And he realized that families can't always do the things that they want to do because finances get in the way. So what we're going to do to change that, this is what we're going to do. We're going to offer you travel at 70 to 95% off, and you're going to be able to earn an income from it as well. Now, there's
Do
not
you
many.
remember? Do you remember the
Well,
first thing Josh said? I think it was Josh who said to you on that
yeah,
very first getaway. I think that's brilliant.
he said, and this is a teenage boy who doesn't want to admit that he's having fun with his family, but he said it's the best holiday he's ever
Yeah.
been on. And it was
I
the
thought when you said
first,
that, and I was like, oh,
it was, yeah, it made me melt. But it was the first holiday after lockdown. We went to Parnforth, Pine Lake. And when we came home, he said, Mum, thank you. It's the best holiday I've ever been on. And I
I
was
think he
just
was
like,
about
"Ooh."
13, wasn't he, at the
He
time?
was
So a
13, yeah,
teenager, well, that's a big thing for a teenager to say.
it absolutely is. And then when I go looking at other trips, and this is another thing, when you're planning your trips, so exciting. And it gets those happy hormones going. And when I always include my children as best I can, the little ones don't understand it quite as much, but my older two, I always include them in any trips that we're planning. And honestly, their face just lights up. It's magical. It's so special. And we don't have to worry about finances when it comes to those trips either. So it's amazing. Value, value, value. This is everything that we give. In one of the boot camp sessions, I talk about other companies that do a similar thing to us. And I actually measure what we have and what they have. And there is no other company that gives the value that we do. And that is proven. It's something that we've looked at. Um, we've sort of looked at terms and conditions. For terms and conditions, we've looked at everything that is offered on similar platforms, and some of those platforms are either so expensive they're just unaffordable. You don't get your investment back very quickly, if at all. Or sometimes they're not as transparent as they should be, and they say things are free, and when it comes to them being free, there's hidden terms and conditions that kind of pop up at the end. And we've all had situations like that. I've had that booking travel before I started using this system. At the end, when you're looking at the total, there's a few other bits that they've added on as they're doing the additions and workings out, and it's not as affordable as you think it is. Whereas we hit that every time. We're totally transparent. What you see is what you get, and what you get with us is luxury, but it's affordable luxury. What we also have, though, as well, is a free incentive trip every single year. You only pay taxes on this stay. You get your flights, and you only pay taxes whilst you stay there. This used to be something that was available once per lifetime of the membership. So this is something that goes on to the next point of the fact that we're in an evolutionary travel option. That's what we are. We are an evolutionary travel option because we evolve with the times. We evolve with the industry. Free incentive trip, get one every single year. There's 65, I think, to choose from at the moment, and they're adding to that all the time. But we've evolved over time, because that was only one at the beginning. When we first started about 4 years ago, you could only get one of them per membership of your per lifetime of your membership. Now you get it every year. So even if you do nothing, even if you never use your search engine, even if you never book a getaway or a world tour, you get a free trip. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't do those things, because it wouldn't make much sense to me, having such amazing things at your fingertips, but you can still go away for free, you know? So when we're talking about things evolving, this is what I love about David Hart. And this is what kind of proves the value of a company. Most companies don't get past that 3rd year of trading, because they're either not able to sustain what they've got, or there's not enough interest, or the marketing's not great, or they're not been able to do whatever. We've been around for over 10 years. And over that time, things have changed quite dramatically. Any of the leaders that have done this business from the very, very beginning, and I'm talking like 10 years ago, they will openly tell you it wasn't like this at the beginning. Stuff we have right now, they didn't have back then. But what they could see at that time was the vision that David Hart had, because he's so family-led, and he's called David Hart. He's very heart-led, quite literally. But he knew what he wanted to do, and that was to help as many people as possible improve their lives. So what he did was he improved the company when he could. So what he would do is put things out there, and people would purchase what we had. And then when the turnover was really good, and as it continues to be, so there's never been a commission run missed. Millions of dollars are paid out every single week. But as time goes on and he's making that profit, what he's done is turn that profit into additional things for the business, and he's evolved the business, and we've got a business that is second to none. As I've mentioned, nothing beats this. What we have here, there's nothing that beats it.
Yeah, when they first started, it was just the net prices. They didn't have any getaways.
Search engine.
And then it was one getaway at the end of the year. So you had to save 12 months worth of points. And when the first world tour started, they were called U trips, I believe, at the beginning. And it was, you weren't allowed to use your points. You had to pay the price, whatever discount price you got, you had to pay the price, no points. From there, we now have a minimum of 2 world tour, getaways or world tours a year if you're a platinum.
Yeah.
And the free incentive every year.
Yeah.
And the net value. It's like, oh my God. And it keeps going better and better.
Yeah. And we've had a sneak preview of the world tours. Oh my God, am I excited. We're planning as a community to go to, well, we're not settled on anything yet, have we? But I think one of our business partners, Jason, mentioned that we have an international one and a European one for our community. So, and we've got the options to do that. And we don't have to think twice about it, other than I need to arrange childcare because I've got 4 kids. And other people will have similar things. But the practicalities can be worked out. We're not worrying about the money. And before I found this, that would be the first thing I'd think about. How much is it going to cost? Because I don't think I can afford it. Whereas that isn't even a question. I know I can afford it. Every trip that is available, I know that I can afford. It's just working out the practicalities. So if you're someone that is pretty independent and doesn't have people that are little people running around you that are kind of reliant on you, you've got to arrange things in that way. If you've not got that many sort of commitments in that way, you could spend half the year traveling, because the affordability of it isn't an issue. It's just the practical side you got to work out, which isn't usually a problem. And yeah, we're excited because we're going to arrange it. I think it's a really good idea, ladies. I think you'll agree, an international one and a European one. So we've got lots planned for next year, but the actual places that they're incredible. Can you reel some off? So we've got Mexico, we've got Budapest again, because we're going there in November anyway, and we've got that again. We've got New York, we've got
Vegas.
Vegas. Is New Orleans on there again? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Is Colombia on there? Oh, there's loads.
Yeah.
There's loads.
But they went to a meeting last week, so he's got more contacts, and he was so excited. He's like, oh, I've made new contacts with new vendors. So he's like, just wait and see what we have next year.
And this, do you know what's really amazing? Again, going back to the heart-led way that he does his business, he's always working in the background. He's always working at evolving this company and making it better for us. And it's just, I've never felt so secure in an online business sort of arena. I've never felt so sure of anything. And it's reassuring. It's amazing.
And the way he's done everything, it's like the first world tour ones, there was 1. Then the following year, there was 14, but then COVID hit and it got a bit messy. But then 100 last year.
Yes.
It's like, you go from 1 to 14 to 100. Wow.
And it keeps growing. Daryl, did you want to say something?
Oh, hi. Yeah. Hang on. Yeah. Yes. It's strange how this came about for me, because my daughter had a random diagnosis of a cancer thing going on. She's fine now, but at the time it hit us hard, and all she could think about was making memories with her boys.
Yeah.
And along comes this, and I thought, light bulb moment. I thought, this is just what we need, because none of us like rolling in cash that much, but you know, we could do this. We could make memories with the kids and all that sort of thing. So she's obviously a member. We all went off on a family holiday this year to Corfu. On the travel site, on the net rate site, we saved £400 on that hotel. And I thought, I found this world tour in Monaco, and I thought, that would suit me lovely after the family holiday, just to go somewhere quiet on my own.
Yeah.
And this is a world tour, and it was a beautiful, beautiful hotel on the Costa del Sol, and breakfast and dinner was included as well. And it would, I can't remember, it would cost me £51 for 4 nights and 5 days, which would save me £600 on the retail.
Oh, yes.
My daughter's got a medium membership. She's entertained. It cost she went with her husband, because she took it off me, basically, because it's their 10th wedding anniversary year. And when she saw what I wanted to do, she said, oh, me and James could do that. So I thought, well, I'll let her have it, because it's, you know.
That's too generous of you, Daryl.
And I let her have it because that meant I was at home with the kids, you see. So that was my present to her. Wedding anniversary. Yeah. I'll have the kids for 5 days. And it cost them £160 for the 2 of them, and they saved £490 on that. And they had the most amazing time. And there's more to come next year. She's already saying to me, where can we go next year? And I've got my eye on New York. Sorry, not New York. was it Rome? Because we nearly did
Yes.
Rome. And then we thought one of our little ones would probably be really bored because all he'd want to do was go to the beach. So we decided to save that for another time. But I thought, my oldest grandson, he's just turned 13 and he loves history and he's done all the Italian stuff, you know, Italy and all the Romans and everything. I said, you know, I've got quite a fancy just to take him away. I thought that'd be quite nice.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Hannah and Jack together. So got lots of ideas, and New Orleans is on my bucket list, obviously, because I love the music. So there's just my head is brimming with things I want to do and places I want to go, and also the fact that I can actually believe that I can do it now.
That's it. And you know, it's funny you've said that, because I was thinking about this today because I was watching a video, and I was thinking about alignment of where you're at. So something that I struggled with in business years ago was not being able to picture having success or achieving whatever it is. And sometimes if we're not in alignment with, if we don't feel that we can get there, we're not going to get there. It's like the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's just not going to happen. But when I look at these trips, because I thought about taking Joshua, the only one of my kids who's been on a plane abroad is Joshua, and he was 18 months old. The others haven't been on a plane. And for old time's sake, I thought to myself, you know what, me and him are going to go somewhere, even if it's a world tour for 4 nights. I'm going to go somewhere just because it'd be really nice to do. But I can do it. I can do that and have a family holiday with the rest of them abroad. I can, these things that you might not, they might not resonate as clearly yet, because you might not understand the kind of value that we give. But I know the value, and I know how easy it is for me to say, I want New York. I went to New York for my 21st, and it was one of the best trips that I've ever had. And it's one of the first things that made me realize that travel is ideal for your mental health. It's something that helps your mental health no end. It's just incredible. And I'm going to go to New York next year. I'm going to take Josh somewhere. Isabel wants to go to New York, actually. So maybe I'm planning my travel whilst we're on the Zoom, but maybe I'll take Josh somewhere where he wants to go. He's quite into history, but Isabel wants to go and live in New York. So we might have a few days there for her.
Does she like Fashion Week?
Pardon?
Does she like Fashion Week?
Well, she's never bothered with stuff like that, but that's when it's on. In Fashion Week, she would love to, but it's an experience, isn't it? Me and her going looking at stuff like that. We're watching people on a runway.
Absolutely.
It's like, I can do that. I know that I can. And that's the thing, Daryl, with you mentioning that about you can take your grandson away. Yeah, you can. It's not like there's no doubt. You know, if I was looking at a travel agent or speaking to a travel agent saying, well, I want to do this and I want to do that, and she'd say, well, it's $4,000 for that, it's $2,000 for that. It's like, I can't do that. Whereas now it's less than £100 for that. It's less than £50 for that. Do you know what I mean? It's not even within the kind of scale that travel agents do.
I know, and look at the deals we have for Orlando for Disney.
Yes.
You can go for practically nothing for 5 people in one place.
Yeah, Ava's heard me talking about Orlando, and now she doesn't shut up about it because she definitely wants to do that. I don't know if I want to do it next year myself, but yeah, don't mention it round her. She'll be going on my
Florida's
website.
one of the ones that I did before I joined the club, and I did get the Disney timeshare, cost a fortune, and you know, it's an expense to start, and then it's a yearly expense. Whereas this,
well, I was going to say about that, Moo, we touched on stuff like timeshares and all sorts of stuff in one of the other boot camps, but it does cost a hell of a lot of money, doesn't it, to get something like that. Now, how does that compare? You don't have to tell prices, but how does that compare to what we pay?
A million trillion times cheaper we do.
Yes.
it's that much cheaper. It's just ridiculous. But
it's like short change hours, isn't it, compared to a timeshare?
You know the place you went to in Cornwall? I can't think what it was called. That was a timeshare that I'd been to with my in-laws, because they used to own timeshare for that one.
Right.
Well, timeshare, you're fixed time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got whichever week you've decided to book, that's the time you've got. in a certain place. If you want to exchange it, you have to pay whatever,
Yeah, this,
£99, whatever. You have to pay extra to exchange dates or exchange venues.
I'm pretty sure you
So
get cancellation fees and all sorts of stuff. It
yeah,
gets complicated, doesn't it, with timeshares?
yeah,
And the contracts that you have are so complicated to get out of as
very hard.
well.
Yeah.
Because I know a business partner that joined with us who had a timeshare for somewhere in Spain or something, and I helped her get out of her contract. I got advice with her and I helped her get through this because she didn't want it. She wanted what we've got. And it was so complicated, and they have you over a barrel. It's not nice. Whereas there's no contract with us. You pick it up and put it down as you want. You do have to be active to be able to get what we have. But like you said, Moo, it costs thousands to have a timeshare, whereas this is just like having extra change in your pocket. It equates to less than the cost of a Starbucks a day to get the top notch membership. So that kind of gives you even more of a clue as to what value you're going to get. But it's exclusive and unmatched. As I've mentioned, it cannot be beaten. And we've tried to beat it because we want to give you everything that we show you. We want it to be completely authentic and completely accurate. And we've tried to beat it. We've contacted and checked and done searches and done comparisons. It cannot be beaten. So I'm just so proud of this club. It's just amazing. So I mentioned a workshop. The accumulation of these 4 weeks of boot camp means that we're going to be putting all of this together in a workshop on the 23rd of October. It's a Sunday. And we're going to do that from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. And what we're going to do in that workshop, you're going to see me book I'm not sure what I'm going to book yet. It's probably just going to be a night stay somewhere. So real time, you'll see me booking something through the search engine. Depending what's going on, I might see what's in the getaway. So getaways are family holidays. You might see me book one of them. But even if I don't book and if I don't book a world tour yet, you will get to see live exactly what it looks like and how easy it is to navigate the system.
Yeah, and Paula, if you go through the process, you don't have to actually pay when you get to the end of it.
Yeah, no, but I'm going to actually book a night stay. I'm going to show you what it's like. Yeah, just as an excuse so I can get away for the night without the kids. Anyway, yeah, you're going to be seeing all that, and then we're going to also be going really deep into flights, because flights you cannot get wholesale. You cannot get them at the net rate, but we have got some secret weapons that are going to get your flights for next to nothing. And that alone for this workshop is going to be worthwhile, because flights are something that you can't often get discounted, but we've got ways and means of doing that. And we'll do a few comparisons as well of different different things that you can do. So we'll look at the car hire, we'll look at some, because you do have flights available through your search engine, but they're not necessarily at a net rate, but I'll still show you how all of that works. So we're going to be showing you every single part of our membership and doing it live, doing it in real time. So that's on the 23rd of October. There is an events page on Facebook if you can make it. And if you want that link, one of us can send it over to you. Just click on if you're going, if you can make it. Even if you can't make it and it comes to the night and you can't make it, get in touch with one of us, because we can send you the information or go over it with you directly anyway. But it's going to be a really nice space just to get to know us and just have a chat, and we can answer any questions, and we can physically, if you've got questions about what we're physically doing, we can do what you're asking us to do and check things out. Thank you so much for being here tonight. That's the end of our really brief presentation. And our community, as we've talked about, is Dragonfly Voyagers, #Team Dragonflies. And what our motto is becoming really is travel for wealth and travel for health, because it's so important that you get both of them, and you get that with us. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to see if there are any questions or anything that anyone would like to add. No questions.
Oh, about the flights, you can use your points, can't you? Loyalty points against those.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. So when you book on the net rate site, so when you're on the search engine, you get rewarded. I was talking to someone about this the other day, actually. You get rewarded every single time you use the search engine. Every single time.
Not just for that, he does bonuses, doesn't he? So like the
Yes.
Budapest, after we've been on the Budapest trip, the people who booked it are going to get 10,000 points, if I remember correctly.
That's right, yes. So when you book something through the travel site, through the search engine, you will get rewarded. Something to remember is some of the search engines that you might use that are out there just openly online at the moment, when they reward you, there's usually terms and conditions attached. There's usually some kind of disclaimer to say you've got to book 4 nights to get your 5th one rewarded and things like that. We don't have any of that. You just rewarded points that you can redeem on your travel as and when you choose to use. And so I'm building mine up to use, Moo, as you've said, flights. Because even if we don't get discounted flights, it's not cost me anything to get them. So in effect, if Ava does want to go to Orlando, it's going to cost us nothing for the week. In a couple of years' time, I'll have accumulated enough points, so it'll cost us nothing for our flights, in theory. And that's how we use this system. It all feeds into the other. But also, as you mentioned, the World Tour going to Budapest in November, if you booked in a certain time frame, and he does this regularly with some of our trips, you book in a certain time frame, you get rewarded from the company. We're going to be getting 10,000 points when we come back from Budapest. Flights.
So I think he did it for New Orleans, for one of the New Orleans ones as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He's doing them.
So you never know when he's going to do it.
Yeah. No, it's a nice surprise because you want him to go anyway. So it's just an extra bonus, isn't it? Which is lovely. Something else that I would mention, people go on like numerous trips. You mentioned, Moo, that you can go on sort of two getaways and 2 world tours, whatever. You can actually vary the trips that you go on as well. So you can use your points that you get every month when you pay for your membership. What you pay in is doubled by the company and given back to you in points. You can choose as to how many points you redeem each time. So if you are planning on 4 or 5 weeks away, sometimes spread over the year, you can just use a small amount of your points for each week. Still brings the price down, not quite as much if you used all the maximum points, but it brings the price down, so you're still not paying much, but you're going away for 5 weeks and you can still do that affordably. So there's lots of different varieties as to how you can use this, and that is what we will be covering in the workshop in a bit more detail as well, the different ways that you can use our membership and how you can get the most out of it. So I'm going to wrap things up there. Thank you so much for being on tonight. If there are any questions following this Zoom, please get in touch with anyone that's here or whoever's sharing this video with you. But thank you so much for tuning in. It's been lovely to see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.